Welcome to the Acecall.ai podcast, where we help golf club managers win with AI. Running a golf club today is harder than ever. So we created simple AI solutions and a podcast to make it easier for you. I'm Clayton Elliott.
And I'm Brad Milligan. Together, we bring a mix of entrepreneurial innovation and decades of golf club management experience to help you optimize your club, increase profitability, and elevate the member experience. So let's dive in.
If you are looking for a way to grow your club's membership organically while strengthening your club's culture, this episode is for you. And today we're talking about how to turn your members into your biggest brand ambassadors by creating a strong membership referral culture.
That's right, Clay. Referrals aren't just about getting new members in the door. When done right, they create deeper engagement, higher retention, and stronger sense of community within your club. And the best part, referral-based members are often the best members. You know, they already align with your club's values because they were invited in by someone who loves it. And people love playing golf with their friends. The retention of both of those members just increased with the addition of one strong referral, as long as you keep them both content with your service, that is.
Yep. And in this episode, we'll cover all that. We'll cover, why referrals are the most effective and easiest way to bring in new members. Always has been, always will be in all businesses. How to structure referral incentives that actually motivate your members. We'll also cover the power of exclusivity, how making referrals feel like an invitation-only opportunity can actually drive higher quality leads. Simple strategies we'll also cover that to celebrate and reward members who bring in referrals without making it feel transactional, which I know is, kind of the taboo thing in golf culture. Right? Everything's a transaction, but we want it to be more than just transaction, right? More than just money exchanging hands for goods and services. And also we'll give you a step-by-step plan for implementing your Members Bring Members campaign in your club.
This is a good one, Clay. Whether your club has an existing referral program that's underperforming or you're starting from scratch, you'll walk away with practical, actionable ideas to make member referrals a consistent and valuable part of your club's growth strategy.
Right on. Thanks, Brad. Let's get rolling here. So, Brad, we both know that membership referrals are gold, worth their weight in gold and some for private clubs. But, a lot of managers that we talk to, they feel like they just happen. Referrals just happen, that members either refer their friends and family or they don't. What would you say? Like, what's your professional take based on all your experience, everything you've seen? What's your gut instinct? And how would you say, what's your take on how clubs approach their referral marketing strategy?
Yeah, absolutely, Clay. Would like to mention, some clubs, they have massive waiting lists. So this isn't necessarily something that they're completely obsessed with at this point in time, but you never know when the economy could take a turn or something happens at your club and you lose some members. So this is very valuable information for everybody because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So I think that's the problem, Clay, is clubs treat referrals as passive instead of proactive. The reality is your current members are your best marketing asset. When a member refers someone, it's not just about bringing in a new member, it's about reinforcing a club culture where people genuinely love being part of the experience.
Yeah, that's a great point. I would say when a new member joins through a referral, they're already pre-sold on the experience. And it doesn't matter what service, it doesn't matter. If it comes from a referral, you're already pre-sold, right? Like I'm going to buy something. I'm literally going to buy something because you are ranting and raving about it. I'll go today. If you told me today, you have to go buy this today. I'm like, okay, sure, Brad. You're like, no. I'm insisting you pull your card, go to this website, go buy it right now. I'm like, but why? You're like, just trust me. Just trust me. If you were like, you don't do that often to me, but if you did that, I'd be like, come on, man, what's the surprise? You're like, just don't ask another question. Just go trust me. Go do it. You trust me, Clay? I'd be like, yeah, I trust you. So what am I getting here? You're like, just get it and thank me later. I'd be like, all right, whatever, man. You're being pretty insistent on this, and I do trust you. So, all right, whatever. I'll buy it and ask questions later. Right? I would literally do that if you recommended me to do that.
Sure. Yeah. Same here.
If an ad on Facebook, if a radio commercial, if a podcast, if a billboard told me to do that, I'd be like, get out of here. Go pound dirt, as they say. I'm like, no, I'm not giving you my money. I'm not pulling my credit card out and buying money because you tell me to trust you. I don't know you. I don't trust you. But it's like, so the referral, someone's already kind of pre-sold if someone's referring them, right? And they know what to expect. They probably played a few rounds. Back to the golf course analogy, they're not new. They're not brand new at your club. They have probably played a few rounds there as a guest. They're more likely to be engaged from day one, right? And it's just much easier to integrate a referred member than someone who just found you online, right? It's much easier to bring them in and make them feel at home immediately rather than someone who just kind of came into your ecosystem through some other loose marketing efforts and that makes sense.
Yeah. 100%. And I mean, you and I have the same microphones now, right? Because I got a microphone. I was like, this thing's awesome. And you're like, okay, I'll get one. Right. So it's like, it does work.
I was doing research on microphones and I was like, man, I don't have time to research microphones. I'm like, I got two grandbabies. I have no time for reaching. Which mic do you have? You like that mic? He's like, I like the mic. I'm like, you do. You like the mic. You tested it out? I tested it out. I love this mic. I'm like, all right, done. Send me a link. And I went and bought the same mic. I didn't read one review.
Yeah.
I didn't compare it to one other mic. I didn't even think about it. I just was like, Brad has this mic. He likes the mic. He's already tested out the mic. If there's anything wrong with the mic, he'd be returning the mic. He's not returning the mic, and he's recommending I get the mic. Done.
Yeah.
I can put my brain on something else. I can think about something else now.
Yeah. I did all that research ahead of time, right? And you trust my opinion, so it was like, okay, yeah, we'll get the mic. No problem there.
That's it.
Right. So back to golf here. When members bring in people they know, it naturally strengthens the social fabric of the club. That's important. The sense of community deepens and retention improves because members are surrounded by friends. But here's the kicker. Most clubs don't actively create a culture that encourages referrals.
No, they don't. And like, that's what we want to tackle today. That's what we want to dig into is how do you make referrals intentional and consistent instead of accidental and random.
Yeah. First it starts with messaging. So members need to hear regularly that their referrals are valued, not just through a one-off campaign, but as part of the club's DNA. And the best and easiest way is to train your staff to plant the seed in everyday conversations.
Yeah, that's a solid tip. To not have it be overly formal and overly forced. It's just like this underlying undercurrent of gratitude and appreciation and respect and recognition and acknowledgement at every opportunity. Just like a good caddy, correct me if I'm wrong, but what little I know about golf, a good caddy, he sets up the next shot, right? Like staff they naturally bring up the idea of sharing the club with friends, right? Like saying something as simple as like, we love having you here. And, we so grateful. You're such a great addition to the community here and the overall just energy of the club. And if you know anyone like you who you love golfing with or would maybe love to golf with a little bit more, who you think would be a great fit for this club as well and our culture, we'd love to meet them. We'd love to have the chance to meet them. And if you honestly think they may be a good fit based on your judgment, your consideration, and your knowledge of this person, and, you think they would, consider being a good member here, bring them out for a night in the house. We'll show them a good time. Tell them that they're, being cordially invited by us through you to come have a really really fun night in the house. Would that
Yeah,
would
yeah,
that be like would that be a way to kind of naturally
yeah.
encourage
That's a
referrals? Because
it's
it gives the member a chance to be the star. Right? He's like, he goes to his buddies like, hey, I got a good night for you. Come on out. Doesn't
yeah,
cost him any
yeah,
money. He gets the VIP treatment.
yeah.
Do clubs like nice high end clubs do this for a good member?
Oh, they would. Yeah, they'd. I mean, everything's case specific, right? So if you do need members, right, a lot of clubs will have all types of programs. But it's not something that's like completely instituted. It's sort of a member would approach maybe the golf pro or the GM and be like, hey, I've got this guy. He might join. He's a really good guy. Even can you come play golf with us? That type of thing, right? So, it's definitely a valuable way to do it. I'll tell you a quick story about kind of my part in referring a member when I worked at Scarborough. So I was at this BPG show, this Boutique Pro Golf Buying Show in Ottawa, and I was at it was one of the nights where you all get together and you kind of have this little banquet and they give away awards and stuff like that. So I'm standing there and I see one of the sales reps, so I go up and start talking to him. And he starts telling me, hey, like, I'm looking to join a club. You're at Scarborough, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'm at Scarborough. And he's like, yeah, I live in the beaches. I've never really played the club. And I'm like, you have kids, right? And he's like, yeah, you have 2 boys. And I'm like, oh, it's the perfect club for you. Like it's an ideal place to have children. We have amazing junior programs. We have camps. We have clinics. Juniors are heavily encouraged there. And I knew he was a pretty good player, so his boys are probably good players too, right? It's kind of there's a bit of genetics involved in golf, obviously. If you have good hand-eye, your kids probably have good hand-eye. So I tell him, I'm like, you should definitely, call our marketing and membership coordinator and have a chat with him. So, a month goes by and he shows up. I see him. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. And I'm like, oh, you actually, you took me up on the offer. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go play. So he plays the golf course one time, never played it before. And he's like, this is unbelievable. I love this place. Right. And he, so he joins and he joins his 2 boys as well. And now they have this like second home. Right. And then he invites, one of his best friends and brings him out and he plays and he's got a couple boys as well and a wife and they all end up joining. Right. So there's this like trickle effect that happened just from that one conversation where I'm a brand ambassador as a staff member. And, this is just kind of the way that I am. I'm like, I'm going to promote the product. It's a good product. And if I believe in the product, I'm going to promote it. Right. And he took my advice because I'm an industry guy. And that's just kind of the way it works, And then you take it up a notch by creating referral specific touch points. For example, a bring a friend golf event where members can invite a guest for a complimentary round or a special club hosted dinner. Those experiences create a natural pipeline for referrals, and they can help clubs reach economies of scale and lump their marketing costs across more members and more guests in one shot.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, when you make referrals part of the club's culture, I imagine, rather than like a one-time promotion, you just kind of do like, oh, it's April. Let's do a referral campaign for a week or 2. And then you're like, okay, that's it. Then there's 51 more weeks of the year. And you could be doing referrals, different like active campaigns and a few, like you said, passive campaigns that just keep going on instead of like one-time promotions. You start seeing a steady stream of qualified leads, of ideal, prospective members. And like you said, Brad, some of these clubs, like, they don't need this. This is not something that's a concern of theirs. They have a 10-year waiting list and members never leave and there's very little churn and turnover. So this might not be a problem for you, but for those clubs, you might have an aging population, right? You might have some guys that they reach the end of their game and they don't play no more. Some people may pass away. Right? There's all types of things that happen. All of a sudden you find yourself needing to fill 4 or 5 spots, maybe 10 spots. And maybe you want to go to your waiting list. Maybe you kind of just want to take your best members and be like, hey, do you have a friend who wants to kind of jump the line? You get to the front of the line over here. I know, we have a long waiting list, but you're a preferred member. I want to give your friends and family an opportunity to get in here if you have anybody, right? At least being able to make those opportunities available and make the open invite to your members is a way to just kind of build those relationships more and deepen those relationships with your current members in the more high-end clubs that don't need, like you said, a steady flow of new leads coming in.
Yeah, and you have to address whether or not you need new members or whether you don't, right? So if you have that huge waiting list, but these are still things that are relevant. Like I said before, if the economy takes a spill, because in 2008, when the housing market had a dip there were people deciding to leave golf clubs because they're like, well, I can't even afford to pay my mortgage now, right? So you see that kind of thing happening and you're like, okay, well, now I actually need, there isn't a waiting list anymore and people pull themselves off the waiting list. So you don't know what's going to happen. So
yeah, that makes sense.
But I think where a lot of clubs go wrong is they offer cash incentives. But your typical private club members, they aren't motivated by a few $100, Clay.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. They're more likely to be excited by, I imagine, they have the money, right? So they don't need $200. It's like they'll drop that much on like gas to fill up their SUV for a tank, They're more excited by experiences and impressive gestures of appreciation, right? I imagine things that really tie it back into like ego and pride, but it's like people like to feel appreciated. They like to feel when they did something for you, they want it acknowledged. Like, hey man, I went out of my way for you, It just the acknowledgement is good enough, but there's ways to go above and beyond and to have really wow them with impressive gestures of appreciation, right? Things like VIP upgrades or an exclusive getaway to a golf resort somewhere, or even like priority booking for tee times, right? Something as simple as that. You think of it like this: if an annual membership to a club is $20,000, is that how much it is for like a nice club?
It depends. It depends. Usually they'll pay, there will be some sort of initiation fee, and then they'll have dues, right? So they'll have, an average. It depends on the club, right? But let's say anywhere from $5K, could be as low as $1,000 depending on the club, but like $5K to $10K is probably the sweet spot in most, B to A tier clubs in Canada. Then you'd have some crazy ones in the States where, it's a $50,000. There's just a different level, right? But yeah, that's a fairly good assumption there.
Okay, so let's just say 10 grand, and then in annual like expenditures, annual cash spent at the club on games, food, events, all that stuff. Would you say the average member spends 10 grand or 5 grand a year at the club?
Yeah, well, they'll have a house minimum, so they'll have to spend some money in the restaurant normally, and then they will be spending money on equipment, lessons. Some of these things go into golf professionals' pockets. Some of them go into other accounts. But you'll see them spend between, $1,000 to $5,000 a year easily on various things at the club. And that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. And the reason I ask is because I'm trying to get a gauge of per club. It's obviously different per club, but it's the cost of acquiring a customer, right? The cost of acquiring a new member. If you're going to make back in that first year of that member being there, you're going to make back $5,000 in profit after all expenses out for that member being there. You can drop $2,500. You're still up $2,500 profit. The next year you're going to make $5,000, $7,500. You're going to make more of him in the future years. But if the guy who brought him there, maybe the two of them, you say, listen, we bought you guys 2 tickets for XYZ, right? Something that's expensive and expense, and the two of them go and share that together. So it's like the the incentive that you could have just put in the member's pocket, you could do something where the two of them, the member and their referral, get to enjoy something.
Yeah.
So now they get to have this bonding experience together, which is what they're going to be having when they're going out golfing together. Now they're both members of the same club. They're going to have this like recurring bonding experience in the shared game and the drinks and the meals and the just cigar lounge and whatever, just a good time spent with each other after a hard week's work, right? And just to decompress. But on top of that, they get something else that wows them that they get to enjoy together. You're going to get a few years out of both of those guys. You can get a few more years. Like even if you just didn't do anything excessive to wow them for 2 or 3 more years, you could drop. Again, I'm trying to get a gauge of how much could be spent to acquire a member, but I imagine there's a budget and there's an amount you could wow every new member and every referral, specifically every referral. You can't do this for every new member, but if a new member comes in through a referral and you give them something that they get to enjoy as well, not just the new member, but not just the referrer, but the new member can enjoy as well. The new member now is being conditioned and trained to see how referrers of that club are treated. You know what I'm saying? They sort of like, wow, these guys take care of their people, especially if they refer people. Actually, you know what? I think I have some people I need to refer here. And like you said, it's that chain. Like you just mentioned, is the guy who came and brought his family, and then he knew another guy who brought his family, a friend, and all of a sudden one guy brought in 3 others and then another 4 others, just like that. Right. And you have no idea how those chains are gonna, you have no foresight for how those chains are gonna, you just have to treat each opportunity as an opportunity to wow a member and a new member, the referring member and the new member. And then that chain can continue on. So, the reason I say that is because I wanted to just figure out where they could spend to get a new member. But, whatever works best for your particular member and your particular club.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it, right? It's about what your club needs to do, the culture of your club, what the best ideas are. And, ask your staff what you think, would be best in those scenarios to give new members, to give referrals. It's important to lean on them and figure out what they would want. Right. So one of the best incentives I've seen, Clay, is a legacy locker program where members who refer multiple members get a personalized locker plate. So a really, really kind of over-the-top locker plate. It's a status symbol, and status means more in a private club than a cash reward ever could.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that one. What about, you think this is a good one? Early access to premium club events, or like a members only tasting with the chef or something like that. Like people, they want access and exclusivity, right? Like not cash. Like cash is, they're willing to give up cash to be a member of this place. So cash isn't the thing that they want. They want access and they want exclusivity. So, sure. What else can we do to hit it from that angle?
Yeah. Yeah. Those are good ideas. Even like a little new members tournament or, some event where it's just the new members, the referrals, all getting together, having a wine tasting and a nice dinner with the chef, some sort of private function like that would go a long way. And I've seen that instituted, and it's been very well received. They're like, oh, this place actually cares about us, right? It's right. It's not just about cash. It's about me as an individual, what I like, and that's because we don't want to forget the social angle, right? Imagine a private referral appreciation dinner where top referrers get recognized. That taps into a key human motivation, which is public recognition. Yeah,
exactly. And that's what we've been saying through this whole episode so far, right? That's the biggest thing. If referrals, the ones being referred, feel like it's an invitation only privilege that they're there speaking with the club representatives rather than a sales pitch, the members themselves take more pride in it.
That's right, Clay.
The members themselves are more likely to invite their guests.
Yeah, you're right. One of my favorite strategies is the membership by invitation model. Instead of just asking for referrals, you tell members that select invitations are available for their closest friends. It turns the referral process into an exclusive opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you add elements of like scarcity, like, we only have 5 spots open this year for member referred candidates, right? Suddenly, all of a sudden, members are thinking hard about who they want to invite, not just like, can I ping anybody in my network? They're like, who do I want to impress? Who do I want to, make a good mark on? Or again, express my gratitude for, express my appreciation for. And that it's not like a pitch. It's more like you said, it's more like a gift. Like, hey, let me invite you to my club so you can have the chance to be considered for membership there. And for someone to be able to offer that, well, the one receiving that goes, thank you. Wow, what a great opportunity. Thank you so much. That's like such, how thoughtful of you. Meanwhile, you're inviting them to be pitched and sold to join a club, right? So sure. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, 100%. Plus, I would say exclusivity increases the quality of referrals. Instead of random acquaintances, members bring in people they really want to share the club with.
Yeah. People they want to golf with, they want to spend time with.
Yeah.
So, okay, how do we've touched on this previously, but I want to get a little deeper into it. Like, how do you properly recognize members and celebrate members who refer others, who bring in referrals?
Yeah, I'd say first celebrate them publicly, but with class. We don't want to go over the top here and, kind of blast them from the hilltops or anything. Yeah. So you can mention them in the club newsletter, feature them on a wall of honor in the clubhouse, or even announce them at special events, things like that, or they go a long way.
Yeah. And even if you can always mention them by name, there's that way. But like you said, some people are just like, they don't want spotlight on them, right? They're not like parade me around and put me up on the pedestal because I brought a buddy here who joined. Like they don't want that pageantry. They made some of them maybe a little more what's the word, like traditional or just classic, and they just don't like the eyes on them. And so you still can announce thank you to all the members. You can in the newsletter or in a type of wall of honor kind of thing, or announce them to special events. You announce the members who refer friends. Like, thank you to all our members who have referred people this year. You know who you are. We don't have to some of you may not want to be paraded around. So we just want to thank you all in general. And that way, anybody who referred a friend feels appreciated, feels like they're being, properly honored and properly appreciated and acknowledged and recognized to other members without having their name, like I said, you said plastered all over the place and confetti shooting out of balloons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So another way I would say I like, based on my, research, is this would be like a more subtle, but I guess still a very prestigious perk, like reserved parking, something as simple as that for top referrers, or like their name engraved on like a club trophy, something small, subtle. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not in anybody's face, right? Or a reserved parking spot. They just have this like nice spot with their name on it. And people pull up and they see the guy's name, or they're like, we don't get that's his spot, like, okay, I'll get another spot. And it's not over the top. Do you think that would be good? Think anybody would bite on that?
It depends on your club and what your culture is, right? So it's because we talk about culture so much, because that really is what defines what your club is all about. So I've seen clubs where the president of the club, right, the president of the board of directors gets his own spot or her own spot. And so this could easily be done at a club where they're kind of, hurting for some members and hurting for referrals, and then make that happen, right? It really depends on your club and what you're looking for. But these are good ideas because you can pick and choose out of these what you like and what your members will actually receive as being good for their club. You could take that trophy and make it, you could have a referral tournament where the winner gets that trophy. There's all types of ideas there, right? So, or even something simple as a personalized thank you letter from the GM, hand signed, expressing appreciation. It's about making them feel valued, not just rewarded.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciated, not just like here's your little token, here's your little coin. Thank you. It's like flick $1 at them. It's like, no, here's your money. It's like, no, they don't want money. It's principles, right? A lot of these people play golf. It's beyond the money. It's the principle. It's the honor. It's the respect and the appreciation. So, and then like when other members, they see that recognition, it reinforces the culture that you're trying to build in your club, and it will make referrals feel like a point of pride rather than a transaction, rather than something that feels like dirty. It's like a dirty transaction, right? It feels like something that you can feel proud of. Yeah. For lack of a better word.
Yeah. Good points, Clay. All right. Let's give club managers a playbook for putting this into action. Clay, go for it. Take it away.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I jotted down 3 steps that I think this could be a very effective, simple campaign that you could follow. Step 1, launch a members bring members campaign with clear, compelling messaging, right? You want to set a tone that referrals aren't just encouraged, they're a prestigious part of the club experience, that you don't want to, just be found in the yellow book, the yellow pages, or you don't want to just like do some, Facebook ad blast or something like that. You want to grow your club through the help of your happy and satisfied members, right? And that this is it's an honor to be able to do that, right? And so again, back to the clear campaign, compelling messaging that fits your culture, that matches the tone of your brand and your club that your members are used to. That's step 1. Step 2, host a private event for members who bring in multiple referrals. So think of it like an exclusive dinner or a golf getaway, something that feels like a privilege. And step 3, make new members feel immediately valued with a club branded welcome gift, something elegant, something as simple as custom golf balls with their initials or a premium setup blocker.
Yeah. Good. Really good ideas, Clay. And most importantly, keep talking about referrals year round. It's not a one-time push. It's a culture shift. If you're proud of your club and what you offer there, you'd be doing a disservice to your members' network if you don't invite them there to also be members.
Yeah. And to add to what you just said, instead of a members bring members campaign, which should be a campaign, over time, as you're rolling these campaigns, you do create a members bring members culture, which that's when it's in the DNA. It's not just a marketing campaign. It's baked into the DNA of members, baked in the DNA of your staff, who are politely, with proper etiquette and proper tact and proper poise. Your staff are trained to be encouraging and inviting and planting the seeds in your members for them to refer people. So, the only reason you'd really not want to encourage members to refer others is if you're not proud of your club, I would think. Right? Like if you don't want to do this, if you think, again, sorry, let me correct myself. If you don't need members, then obviously that's a reason to not be doing this. But to even start to plant the seeds is wise for the reasons we mentioned. But if you are a club that doesn't have those locked in members for years and years and years and years, and there is that turnover, then you do have a duty to execute marketing activities that keep your occupancy full, that keep your club full, right? You don't want an empty club for a number of reasons. And if you're proud of your club, talk about it. Get others talking about it, right? So I appreciate this, Brad. Thanks. This has been a good conversation. We can sum it up here. We're just a little over time, but it's looking pretty good still. So if I can sum all this up, I would say the best marketing activities always has been, always will be referral marketing. Referrals can transform a club's membership growth and stabilization and retention if done right. And it all comes down to making it feel natural, making it exclusive, and making it rewarding for your members.
Yeah, absolutely, Clay. If club managers take even a few of these ideas and implement them, they'll see real results. Maybe fast, maybe slow, but there's no way they won't get positive results from these efforts. Follow the steps we listed in the show, and it'll be easy for you.
Right on. And speaking of making life easier, if you do want to see how AI can streamline your club's operations, give a test drive of our AI voice receptionist. You can just call 1-866-838-8581. Again, 866-838-8581, toll free, and experience it for yourself. Have a chat and imagine this in your club doing exactly this for you and your members and your staff.
Yeah, or Clay, they can book a demo with us today and we can talk about how we can help them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks, Brad. And thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you the next time on the Acecall.ai podcast, where we help golf club managers win with AI. Take care.